Hi there, welcome to iTWireTV. Today we're joined again by our good friend, Yubico Regional Vice President for Asia Pacific and Japan, Geoff Schomburgk. Thank you so much, Geoff. Nice to see you again.
David, great to be here again, as always, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. No, well, Geoff, we've talked and talked and talked many times about, how people can better protect themselves, and if they only were using some sort of multi-factor authentication, hardware-based keys, they'd be better. But Geoff, despite the growing number of cybersecurity threats, why do so many people still trust usernames and passwords as sufficient protection?
Yeah, look, that is one of life's great mysteries. I think, seriously, though, I think it's a lack of awareness generally around what is authentication best practice and what the options are. So today, Yubico has released our 2024 Global State of Authentication report, which is a fascinating report covering about 20,000 respondents across 10 different countries, including Australia. Um, and so we've got a really good insight from that. And I'll throw some statistics around just coming out of the report. And scarily, 39% of those respondents still think that a username and password is the most secure way to protect
Mm.
their online accounts. That's really scary. 39%, 40% of the population's thinking that. 58% still think that username and password is okay for their personal accounts, and about the same, 54% for their work accounts. So, why? I think it's a lack of awareness. It's a comfort factor. We've been doing username and password for so long, and maybe not a realization that there is a better way.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, and as well as that, I guess another thing on my mind is AI. Everywhere I look, people are talking about AI. Yeah, so with AI rapidly evolving, I guess, are you seeing any trends or impacts on that in the cybersecurity space?
No, absolutely. In our world, we talk about authentication, and when we talk about artificial intelligence or AI, we're really talking about generative AI, the ability to use AI to generate text, voice, and/or video or combinations thereof to be more convincing. And across the globe, we've really seen that people are starting to feel the impact of phishing attacks using AI. And it's interesting, historically, markets like Japan have been a bit immune to that because their language is unique and people in the other side of the world trying to do bad things aren't very good at Japanese. So they've been relatively immune. But the rise of AI is meaning that barrier has been reduced, and there's been a significant uptick in AI-generated phishing attacks in markets like Japan. More broadly, 72% of our respondents said that phishing scams are more sophisticated. So they're seeing that they are becoming more convincing. And 66% say that phishing scams are actually being more successful.
Hmm.
So it works. Phishing as a service, phishing as a business, it's a numbers game. And with the rise of AI, it's making it more convincing and placing the onus back on us as users in our work life or our home life to be more vigilant. And it's getting tough.
Yeah. Do you think, I wonder if individuals relying too heavily on online platforms and services for their security, maybe.
Yeah, again, I'll keep throwing stats, but from the research, 40% of the respondents are not sure if their online apps are doing enough to protect them. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that we don't or shouldn't be relying on the apps or the services to protect us. We as individuals need to take that action ourselves.
Yeah, fair enough. In that research, I guess, where did the majority of your respondents indicate that
Yeah,
maybe where their passwords were most frequently compromised? What was the finding
look,
there?
it won't be a surprise to you when I give you the answer, but statistics tell the story. It's our personal information and our financial information pretty clearly. The biggest target was social media. 44% of respondents feeling that their social media accounts are being attacked. And then the financial stuff, it's a combination of payment applications, online shopping, messaging apps, things like WhatsApp and so forth, and specifically banking apps. So, you know, all of those averaging around about 20%. But by far the biggest area of attack was personal information based on our social media accounts.
Yeah, right. Wow. Even though it's
Yeah.
social media, though, are people being supported by their employers? Maybe are they getting cybersecurity training from their employers? Is that
Yeah, that's one of the really disappointing outcomes from the research, that 40% of people have never received any
wow?
cybersecurity training from their employer. There's an awful lot of room to move there. And of that, 27% believe that their organization's security options, what's presented to them as employees, are actually secure enough. So not a lot. So most people see that there's a gap. And back to where we started, I think the gap is acknowledged, but people aren't quite sure what to do or what is best practice and what they should be doing to protect themselves.
Yeah. So that research then suggests that, I mean, not only are individuals vulnerable, but maybe businesses aren't adequately onboarding the new employees from a security perspective. I guess, did you have
Yeah.
other insights around that as well?
Yeah, look, onboarding of a new staff member is the ideal time to sort of set the expectation around what to do to keep yourself secure in your work life. And it's interesting that, the personal life should mirror that. Whatever you do security-wise in your business life, you should do that in your home life as well. A term we call a phishing-resistant user. But back to that, onboarding. 34% of respondents did not receive instructions when they signed on to an organization. And there's an opportunity there to really uplift security and awareness. And interestingly as well, it's not one size fits all. Employees, we have different roles. Some will have access to highly sensitive information, others will just be, general company access. And so trying to apply the one size fits all won't work. 41% of employees recognize that they have differing requirements or higher levels of requirements than just the standard. So if we're going to do any awareness and training, we have to target those with those different needs and get the messaging right so that people understand in all aspects of what they do that cybersecurity is important and how they can protect themselves.
Yeah, wonderful. Do you think all of this then suggests that there's a growing need for some sort of comprehensive cybersecurity strategy that can address
Yeah.
personal as well as professional? Is that, yeah.
Yeah, look, we talk about the term a phishing resistant user. And what that means is someone that is using the technology, phishing resistant authentication, passkeys or FIDO, we've talked about before, passwordless, using that technology in all aspects of their life. Because, what we do in our work life and what we do in our home life, they kind of blur. If we're using passwords, they're probably going to be fairly similar. So we would encourage this hygiene of taking a holistic approach to everything you do, you as an individual do, in your work life, in your home life, and applying that to be as secure as you can. And that phishing resistant user, you're then educating people they understand, and they will actually put the pressure back on their employers to be a phishing resistant
Mm.
enterprise. So taking that holistic approach, I think, is a really good and positive step, and it will encourage and uplift security in all aspects of people's lives, and that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, tremendous. I mean, these are all good things. I guess if we get to some concrete actions, how can your company, how can Yubico support individuals and
Yeah.
organizations in minimizing their exposure to all these cyber threats?
Yeah, look, we like the idea of, and it's a scary sort of term, but a personal cybersecurity audit. And that's just to take stock of where you're at, realizing that you've got a lot of information that's being shared in your online accounts, and doing things like making sure your software on your smartphone and your laptop is up to date, making sure you do your backups, making sure if you can't use phishing resistant MFA or passwordless, that you do change your passwords, make them a bit more complicated and rotate them around. And of course, more and more applications and services are giving us the option to use phishing resistant passkey, passwordless authentication. So take it up. Most recently, we've seen really positive steps from the likes of Telstra, who've introduced this for access to their customer portal. MyGov is another one, introducing passkeys for us as citizens to access really important stuff like our tax records and our medical health records. You know, two things we said before, personal information and financial information. So the government's got that, and they've done the right thing in making that option available to be secure with phishing-resistant authentication. So, you know, that audit, if you like, they said no one likes the word audit, but that taking stock of your personal situation and just doing those small steps to keep yourself secure is a really positive step that everyone can take.
Yeah, wonderful. No, well, I appreciate that, Geoff, as always. You've not only been very informative, but given some really good practical advice. If I could just ask again, so the research report you mentioned, what was that title again? And is that available from Yubico?
Yes, so it's been released today. It's our 2024 Global State of Authentication survey. The last one we did was 2022, so this is fresh. It's much more comprehensive, 20,000 people across 10 different countries, including Australia, as well as countries like Singapore, India, Japan, US, UK, and a couple of countries in Europe. So it's pretty comprehensive. It is available. I will be putting a post on my LinkedIn page so people to be able to find that and download that, or it's available on the Yubico website. So we are making it available. We think it's important statistics and information for people to know, and also know what they can do to keep themselves safe online.
Yeah, fantastic. No, well, I'll go read it straight away myself.
Happy reading.
Excellent. No, well, thank you, Geoff. You've been wonderful as always. So that's been Yubico Regional Vice President for Asia Pacific and Japan, Geoff Schomburgk. Thank you so much once again, Geoff. Always good to talk to you.
Indeed, David. Always a pleasure, mate. You take care.
Thank you.